Hello, hello, hello. Oh, hi. It is I, Norm. And I am the first one to be online today. How fun and exciting is this? I got the pretzel music back going. Looks like they added a lot of new music. Oh, there's a cooch.
What's up, big dog?
I am just talking to the two people that are in my stream that are in our chat room that may or may not actually be in the chat room. Cooper Sakure and Jean Ernestu or Jean Ernestu, depending upon if you're French or not. I'm gonna go with Jean.
I don't have any French.
I'm gonna think he's French. I like to think he's French, so he's Jean until he tells me otherwise. And Lazy Dragon's in the chat. He says almost there. So I don't know if he's finishing or almost in the show.
He's probably putting on pants.
So he's finishing.
Makes sense to me.
As one does on a Sunday morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
What's up, genius?
Was that a warning or was that a almost there?
Yep. And there.
Hey, do you want to check your voice settings?
Do I have voice settings?
Yeah, so in Discord, do you have, if you tap on your screen, you know where your microphone, where you can change your microphone is?
Nope. I'm in the app, so I don't know if that makes a difference.
You should be able to.
Hold on. App settings. Voice?
Yep.
Okay.
Do you see a volume control?
I do.
You want to turn your mic volume down just a little bit.
Like that?
A little bit more?
Wow, it made you really quiet.
Okay, maybe that's your overall volume. Turn that back up to where it should be.
Okay. Well, it says output volume. Input mode.
I'm gonna illuminate my room here a little bit.
Illuminati.
I turned it down a little. Does that make any difference?
Oh, keep talking.
Still talking. Talking out loud. Making some noise.
Talk like you talk. Say something loud.
Something loud.
Okay, can you turn it down just a little bit more?
Is that better?
I don't know. It all sounds the same to me. Are we? Am I quieter to you now?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you're just turning down your headphone volume.
I mean, yeah, I'm assuming that with the combination of devices I'm using, it's not going to be real smart.
Yeah. Well, however you have your mic now is a good place to have it because that took a lot of the loudness out.
Okay, yeah, I think because out here so I can see what I'm doing on the screen. So I think if I tip the top part, because the microphone only goes down so far, if I tip this forward, it pushes it down probably to a good spot.
Yep.
So
we may need to
better.
Yeah, we may need to adjust on the fly depending upon how quiet and echoey it might sound with it being that low. But we'll adjust right before show starts probably.
Sounds good. You missed a good show on Friday when in our unfortunately we don't broadcast ours. I got to launch a puppy.
Like you yeeted it into existence or out of existence?
I tied it to a ballista on a rocket launcher attached to our little vehicle thing and launched it into oblivion.
And what did that puppy ever do to you?
I mean, technically it was a black dragon, but...
Well, I would say that's the opposite of a puppy.
It had gotten turned into a wolf pup.
That's a great comment.
One would argue that's not even close to a puppy.
It looked like a puppy at the time.
And if it looks like a puppy and attacks like a dragon, then you yeet it.
I'm just happy that no one stopped me because I thought that was going to happen.
Was it cute?
It was adorable. It was trying to nip at everyone and failing miserably.
Well, then why did you toss it?
Because if I would have waited, it would have been a dragon again.
But why wouldn't you try to tame it and make it your own?
Ooh.
There was a time limit.
It was feeble-minded.
I suppose. But what happens if you ride a dragon too long is you end up dead on its back and buried in the snow.
Fictional. Completely
That's what we
fictional.
learned.
That would never happen. Maybe. I guess maybe it would. What am I doing? What am I doing?
So D&D Beyond, I learned something today, and I don't quite understand why it exists. If you scroll to the right, there's like a little icon that shows up about next to quarantine resources, and it seems to be called It's Party Time.
Yeah. I don't know what that's for.
I clicked on it, and it just basically makes the headings like flash multicolor when you hover over them. So maybe Wizards has a better idea,
What
Of what
headings
to
are you
do with
talking
it?
about?
like quarantine resources, new player guide.
Oh. Look at that.
So if I activate It's Party Time and I hover over those, it just flashes them multicolored. So
That means it's party time.
it's party time.
Hmm.
But it does not seem to do anything else. So
The Cloak of Billowing also doesn't seem to do anything else but billow. So, I mean, sometimes it's just there.
Yeah, I haven't.
but it intrinsically has value.
Well, everything has value if you place value on it. So what else is going on?
Yeah, missing our illustrious DM. He must have had too much emotional Friday. Still recovering.
He's
Emotional hangover.
distraught over being, after witnessing a baby dragon being yeeted. I will say,
No,
I'm going to try to work yeeted into our session today, I think, just because it's fun to say this morning.
yeah, no, they were in the middle of something else that was very intense, and I sent it to him in Messenger. I said, I'm gonna dash with the puppy, strap it to the ballista, and launch it as far as I can. And he just busted out laughing when he saw it. And everybody's like, "Uh-oh, what did Graz do?"
Is that your character that's big and dim-witted?
Most of my characters are big and dim-witted, so except for this one is short and kind of dim-witted. He's not dumb, but he's not.
Oh, I wouldn't say he's dim-witted. He seems pretty fine to me.
He's got his the things that he knows and the things that he doesn't. And surviving in a blizzard is one of those doesn't. But he's at least he's a hardy dwarf.
Part of a balanced breakfast. Do you think we should send John a message?
I feel like that might be a good plan. I mean, he's got 5 minutes, but Could be in the middle of an intense soccer match. You know, sports ball.
He could be.
All right, I'm back.
Family drama
I'm
for
still
your
here,
mama.
but even if my picture froze, I'm still here.
Long story short, kids are trying to make some toaster strudels. We have a new toaster oven. It's really cool, but also more complex than just a toaster. So,
Fair.
Keep them making their own breakfast. It's hard. It's really hard to get a teenager to do it.
John will be here in a second.
I really did want them to figure out how to do it themselves, because when I woke up and said, "Hey guys, if you want breakfast, you have to do a couple things," and nobody moved. So that feels like life.
Oot.
I hear you.
Can you hear me? No, you
I hear
can't
you.
hear me. I did not turn my camera on yet. That's why. Now I have my camera on. And holy shit, there's a lot of bright screens around me. Makes me look like a freaking ghost.
Also can't cope with that.
You're in a blizzard, so
It's fair. No, I'm not. You are.
To also be fair, you are really white.
I guess you're in a hole.
Yeah, it's winter, and even when it's summer, I don't get that tan because the sun burns us. We do not like it. So.
Yeah.
Yee freaking ha. Jeff, Ryan, long time no see.
Mhm.
Has it?
Actually, I've seen all of you more frequently than I did in this last week. Even saw Norman for a hot minute there.
Truth in advertising.
It is. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, it'll stay. Should stay. I got a new mouse today, or not today, yesterday.
Yeah.
My left clicky doesn't stick anymore.
Yeah, you click that mouse, boy.
Now if I can just teach my kids, hey, don't push so damn hard on the mouse,
Maybe you should just buy them their own.
or
Wash
just
the
give them the old broken one to use.
No,
There you go, deal with it.
Wash the peanut butter off their hands before they play with your computer.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the laws for video games.
And that's how you get
Your
yeeted
system,
from
you can
John's
mess
house.
up all. You can mess up all your crap, your Switch, however you want. Don't wash your hands. Let your screen be all kinds of grimy. Fine, whatever. But if you're gonna touch my Xbox, you're gonna touch my PS5. Wash your damn hands. So.
We just had the conversation about how to get grease off a Nintendo Joy-Con the other day, and it's not as easy as you'd think.
No, it's not. But the easiest way to get grease off of a Nintendo Joy-Con is to never put it there in the first place.
100%.
Also recommend not putting sandwiches in a VCR.
Yeah, that could be difficult. Didn't your daughter do that? Yeah.
There was this was a story from Grandma's house that one of the grandkids thought, that was a good place for it.
For the sandwiches.
Might be a little. Yeah, there you go, Tom.
Same size, same width. Makes sense. You got a Christmas.
Is that a good volume, Cooch?
Yeah, it was loud at first, but it sounds great now.
He's all lit up and birdie.
I like the.
Yeah, I was messing with the volume. I thought it was a little quiet.
Dennis Leary has that has a joke about that, about watching the peanut butter sandwich movie, because there was a peanut butter sandwich in the VCR.
I'm going to do something really quick on stream before we go live. Be right back.
Make it quick.
That's awesome.
We should totally put it live.
Brrr.
Why did John have pants on?
There was
I have
not
shorts on.
pants there. It would look like, yeah.
I'm wearing shorts, athletic shorts. I live in an upper apartment that I don't have the heat on. So, but anyways, I have a secret Santa at work. Got me an advent calendar of Star Wars socks, and I get to open
Wow.
today. So let's
You get new
I've opened
socks
4.
every day.
Yeah, 15 pair. So let's see, we got to open 12 now.
You do realize you have to open this first pair on stream.
Well, I've opened
That's
3
one of
pair
the
already,
coolest
but
things
I'm
I've
opening
heard
a
of.
pair on stream right now.
Yes.
That's why I decided I needed to
You
do this,
always have these socks.
because I saw it sitting under my tree and went, "Oh, this would be great."
But it's gone now.
So today's pair of socks.
Is this like
Looks
Sesame
like-
Street where it's brought to me by a letter and a number?
Well, today's pair of socks would be brought to you by Chewbacca.
Nice.
They almost don't
cool.
look Star Warsy unless you know what they are.
They look like baby socks.
They're actually men's size 12.
Ankle.
They-
Okay.
they stretch. These are ankle, yeah. There's a couple pair of ankles and a couple pair of other ones. I got some with Darth Vader on it. The first pair I opened had the Mandalorian logo on it. I was like, yes!
Wow. It seems
Pretty
real
bitchin'.
cool.
It's fun. I haven't been able to wear any of them to work yet because I haven't got. Well, I got one crew pair, but that was yesterday. And I wear boots at work, so I'm not gonna wear ankle socks with boots. But once I get a pair of crew socks, I'll wear
Come
a
on,
pair to work.
be that rebel we know you are.
It's nothing about Rebel. It's comfort, man. You don't wear crew socks with boots. It sucks.
Well,
End up
Rebel wears
rubbing,
boots with ankle socks.
rub their ankle raw too.
I'd say it was a good idea.
What do you think? Kick this party off?
It sounds like we could do that. 1 second, Tom Norman gets his nose out of his book. Not
Alright.
the nose in the book, sir.
Are you ready?
As ready as I'm gonna be. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Two Nerds, One Quest. I am your host, DM JC, here with 3 nerds. Math is hard, trust me. Can lead to very, very awkward things. Very, very awkward things. Anyways, sometimes in D&D. 3 nerds here with me. God, I don't know what to say here in the beginning. I get the intro and then I gotta find a way to intro you guys. So here they are. the head nerd on the 1s and 2s, Mr. Tom M. Norman playing Aronan.
I kind of want to see how long you're going to like vamp and keep talking about random stuff in the intro. It feels like it gets a little bit longer every week.
Some weeks I do very well and I get right into it, so it's
I enjoy the improv.
and of course I enjoy the improv as well, so we'll see what we improv today. There's also Ryan Crixus Kukta hanging out with us.
What's up?
And then of course the lore master, the genius himself, the lazy dragon, Jeff Doc Williams.
Happy Sunday morning, everyone.
Sunday mornings are for D&D.
Yay.
That little clicking sound, sorry if that annoyed anyone. If someone was doing that right in my ear, I might be a little upset.
Nah.
It's more for
As long
the
as it's not the Predator.
True. Or a clicker. If you've ever played The Last of Us. I got a look from Tom Norman. I started The Last of Us Part 2 again.
Again,
After-
I haven't even started the first time.
Oh, dude. Oh, it's so good.
The award-winning.
The award-winning, yes, the game of the year. That's actually what spurred this. It's like, you know what? I should finish that. And then I loaded it up on my PS5 and went, you know what? My save was on my PS4, which I don't own anymore. So, Starting over.
Anyway,
Anyway, you guys are headed north, trying to find Fireshear. It's a bit
Hard.
difficult. It's a bit difficult in the blizzard where vision is less than stellar.
do you want to do a recap?
That's kind of what I am doing.
Oh, I sounded like you were jumping right in.
Well, that's yeah. But I was gonna say, you guys are headed north, and Crixus decided to go. He noticed something in the distance as this blizzard started taking hold. Went to explore and found a man seated on a hill, sitting on a hill. And as he got closer and approached, he realized this was a dead man sitting on a hill. And the rest of the team, in one form or another, and I went around one way with Doc in tow, and Ellie followed up where Crixus was going, I think is how it went. Maybe. I could be wrong. Details are not important. Everyone ended up at this hill. Aronan jumped up on the hill as well, and the hill jumped up then. And we had a fight with a large dragon-like worm creature. It's a worm. It had 4 legs, plus its wings. In which Crixus kind of said, hey, I'm hot shit here. With a crit on his first hit, and then I think you only actually hit him twice. You crit him for like 30 some damage, and then you returned a Hellish Rebuke on him for a ghetto crit of 3d8, rolling 24 damage, sending the fire back into its mouth and it to its grave. And trying to find your way back to the camp and the dogs, Ellie ended up lost. And the group slowly ended up lost as some people went some directions and some people went other directions. Aronan eventually found Ellie in a sinkhole, basically. A cavern below the surface of the ice. Hooked up a rope, tossed a rope down to her, she tied it around herself, he hooked it up to the dog sled. Told the dogs to yell mush. Dogs were yelling mush, he kind of had the rope in his hands, and there was a sudden jerk on the rope and a scream from Ellie. And that's where we ended. So the question is, Aronan, when you hear Ellie scream, what would you like to do?
I'm going to yell stop at the dogs and then run over to the mouth of the hole.
You run over to the mouth of the hole. Ellie's hanging there by 2 hands.
How far down is she?
To the very end of the rope. Oh, you may be able to reach her if you lay down.
All right,
It'll
I'm
be
going to
close.
lay down and put my arm down.
You
like-
put that. Yeah. You can just touch her fingertips. Like, you guys just are barely touching.
Everything's about touching tips these days.
Lightning bolts, fingertips. Uh-oh. We lost Crixus. I imagine he'll be back shortly. He seemed to be having technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Bad reception in the blizzard.
Mm-hmm. That makes it hard. As you're hanging there, or you're hanging there with your arm over the edge, and you can just get a finger on her. There is another scream. Sounds almost human, but not quite. It echoes from inside this cave.
All right. I am going to... okay. Ellie, hold on. Hold...
No shit!
Is your...
Her legs are kicking. She's hanging on. Just
Don't make any extra moves, okay? And I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to...
something you actually see here. That her knot came loose.
Yeah.
Her knot, she's hanging on by her hands. She's got about a foot of rope below her hands.
Yep. So I'm telling her to hold on tight. I'm going to get up, and I'm slowly going to pull the rope so as not to jerk her, so that she gets closer to the mouth, and then I can, I'm going to also, while I'm doing this, tell the dogs to walk or go, so that they walk
Mush.
as opposed to like mush.
Oh, okay, okay. I need 2 things from you. I need a strength check and an animal handling check.
This can't possibly go wrong.
No, not at all, especially with the -1 strength.
Oh.
Okay, so 5 on strength.
Okay.
Animal handling is 14.
14. So the dogs start pulling. You think you're helping. You're pulling on the rope. You think it's actually helping that
I'm
you're
doing
pulling.
nothing.
The dogs know it's not. And that rope does pull up some more from where you were at.
All right. I noticed that the rope is tight, right? Because
Yep.
it's in my hands. I'm going to get back down to my stomach and help pull Ellie up. Like I'm gonna grab her by
So
her.
you reach down, you lay down on your stomach.
I'm gonna grab her by.
You're gonna grab her by her
No, I'm gonna grab her by her wrists. So that way.
by her wrist. So you kind of one of these.
Yeah.
Thing.
Well, because
Okay.
she's holding onto the rope, so I'm gonna
Yep.
grab one here and one here. That way,
Okay.
because if I grab her by her clothes, I don't want her clothes to rip.
Fair enough. I mean, it's heavy armor. I don't think that's gonna rip. I mean, it's not like she's wearing Padme Amidala's outfit
Wow,
in
okay.
episode 2 or anything.
I don't want to try to pull her up and then have her fall through, and so I'm just holding on to her armor.
You're being
All
intelligent
her
about this.
dazzling jewels are gonna fall off.
Uh-huh.
So you actually grab onto her wrists, and as you're pulling, I need you to make another strength check. At advantage, because she's assisting. Because she went from holding onto the rope to holding onto you.
Hey, Coach, can you turn your volume up a little bit on your mic? 12 for strength.
12. Yes, you pull her up. As you pull her up, something white enters the cavern below, and you hear that same scream much, much closer. And something hits her foot
Oh.
as you pull her out of this cave. She comes up and she's like, "We need to go. I don't know what that is, but we need to go. Something hit me." And you look down at her boot, and there's like claw marks on her armor where something hit, and it actually cut through like one of the straps that's like tying to the cold weather gear to her.
That's uncool.
That's a good thing you didn't drop her.
Yeah, right. All right. I'm going to kind of peek over to see what it is.
Takes you a minute when you look in there because it just kind of looks like snow and ice, and then you suddenly see a shifting of white along the side, and it's something on 4 legs. Maybe it's large, like a bear almost, but maybe feline.
I'm going to jump up and quick grab Ellie and push her towards the sled and say, "Hop on, we gotta go. We gotta go now."
Just as you turn to like pull away from looking in the hole, the thing turns and looks up at you and screams, and it's unsettling because it sounds like a human screaming, like a human that's literally being torn apart, screaming. It doesn't sound like a cat at all.
Yeah, I'm out of there. I'm running. I'm up and I'm running, and I'm not sure if Ellie is in front of me. I'm guessing probably not.
She's on the sled. The sled is going, and you're running.
Okay.
Let's see. I need a survival. No, I don't need a survival check from you. I need it from her because she's got the sled, and you'll just follow the sled. All right. She goes.
Wait,
probably
am
about
I on the sled?
3. Did you jump on the sled?
Well, I was going to, and then you said she's
I
on
got
the
it.
sled already.
Okay. Okay, then I need strength checks from the dogs too. Oh shit. Oh, poor puppies. You jump on the sled, and the sled is not going very fast at all. These dogs are pulling, and you realize that you might go faster if you
I'm gonna-
ran alongside.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop off.
So you hop off, and the dogs start pulling. You go for maybe 5 minutes or so, and the whiteout is, you don't know where you are. Everywhere she was just going forward, trying to follow a trail, and she lost it. And she slowly slows the dogs down and stops, and looks around and says, I don't know where we are.
All right. I'm gonna listen to see if whatever that was is following us. Can I hear anything?
Make a perception check.
16.
You don't hear anything from behind you. You hear the howling of the wind. You suddenly feel very lost and alone and secluded in this snowstorm. Crixus and Doc, you guys are back at the dragon, right? The worm?
Yeah, taking turns calling out.
Okay. Unfortunately, Aronan and Ellie do not hear that. You guys didn't hear the scream at all either that they heard from this thing. It's starting to get dark. You guys are realizing that it may be a night without them. It's up to you whether you want to go looking in the night for them, or if you want to try and rest and try in the morning. But much like closing the blast doors in Empire Strikes Back, you're not sure how wise it would be to go searching in a blizzard at night.
How much of the blizzard is still swirling? Is it still crazy
Quite a
out
bit.
there?
Yeah, it is still crazy nasty. It's obscuring vision. It's obscuring trail. Like the trails in and out of the dragon are almost completely covered now at this point. You can't pick them up where you guys came in. Doc, you had said you had propped up the wing to try and make like a lean-to shelter.
Yep, we had lifted up the wing and kind of used the sleds to make a little makeshift shelter, try to maybe protect a little fire if we can, but
You have a good shelter, basically. The way the wind is blowing, it's actually propped up and the snow is drifting over the top of the body onto the wing, so it's almost building a natural ice cave as well as you were sitting there. So when you're down in there, you're completely out of the wind. You're down probably about 5 or 7 feet from the surface level of the snow at this point under this dragon, because the snow is drifting up.
yeah, every so often just trying to climb up and maybe blow the horn just to see if anybody can hear it, but that's the only thing I have for any kind of signal. Torches won't stay lit in the weather, so I don't have anything else.
Yep. Do you have any charges left on the horn, or are you just blowing it naturally?
Nope. Last session I used the last one.
Okay.
Just blowing casually.
Blowing casually. Fantastic. So are you guys staying here, or are you going out looking? That is the question.
Should I stay or should I go?
I don't think we go out.
I think if we go out, we just cause more of a problem.
Yeah. So here's what I'd like to do. I'd
Okay.
like to expend a couple spells for a guiding bolt and shoot a guiding bolt up into the air. It doesn't indicate how bright it is, but it is a source of light.
Mhm.
So it's a flash of light, streaks, and I don't really have a target besides, let's say,
The air.
the sky.
A snowflake
But-
that's 100 feet
But
above.
yeah, just trying trying to create a column of light that
Okay.
someone could potentially pick up
Fair
before
enough.
we close up the lean-to.
Aronan, I need a perception check from you. You and Ellie are kind of standing there in the snow. You don't know what's happening.
10.
10. You guys don't see anything. You see the wind around you. Ellie had a 9. This snow is blinding.
All right.
You're beginning to realize that you may just need to wait it out.
All right, we should probably set up shop here, Ellie. I'm gonna take a look around and see if there's any like big trees we can huddle against with the dogs and the sleds.
Ellie takes the rope and she walks over to you, and she doesn't ask you anything or say anything. She just walks over to you and puts her arms around you with the rope in one hand, and she ties it around your waist and then ties the other end of it around her.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice she's actually tied her rope to it as well.
All right.
And she
Good
said, you have probably about 90 feet or so that you can get away from me. But don't untie that rope.
I'm gonna double check the knot.
Okay. Should actually probably look at. Looking at the knot, you realize all three of these knots are fantastically tied knots. Tight. They aren't coming loose. They aren't slipping. So yes, you're able to explore kind of within 90 feet of the sled to look for like a tree or anything that would. So make a survival check to look for that.
Eight.
8. You run a full circle. You just walk clockwise. The rope doesn't hit anything. You don't see anything. You are literally in the middle of an open field. It feels like.
Seems about right.
You come back and Ellie's got the dog sled flipped up on its side, and snow kind of dug out from the one side of it. She put it up kind of against the wind. And you're already starting to see the similar thing that they have with the dragon, the drifting of the snow up over the top of it.
I'm going to help and dig and kind of almost build like walls like you would when you were a kid. You know, you'd kind of build a little snow fort.
Absolutely. That's what's in my head. Absolutely what's in my head. She's pushed snow up to try and help the drift build against the backside of the sled. The dogs actually have jumped down in out of the wind, and they're kind of roaming around inside this little, it's probably about a 10-foot square that you have in there. So as you guys are working on that dock and Crixus, is there anything else you'd like to do to take a precaution for the night?
Probably just take out the extra blankets and kind of get the dogs get all the warmth together in one place if we can.
Dogs are very receptive to this idea.
Have a little conversation with Crixus because I really haven't had any real one-on-one time. So just gonna, you're kind of a mixed bag for me. You had some interaction with a member of your kind, and it didn't go well for anyone, but you seem to be okay. You seem to have found some faith, and nothing like the faith of the one that I had to face at one point. But I've where I come from, we do a lot of nicknames, and I've thought long and hard to come up with something to call you, and I'm not sure if it fits or not, but there was a wizarding school back where I'm from, and you kind of resemble the mascot a little bit, so I'm going to call you Duke.
Indeed. I would love that nickname.
Take inspiration, Jeff. You don't have
Sadly,
it.
I already have it. I looked just a second ago. I'm like, I should have used it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Faith for me was a means of staying alive, and it gives me a sense of purpose, but for me it is not a lifestyle. It is more of a way of living so that I can assist others. Now, as I grow older and realize that it isn't just about roaming around and trying to help people, it is also about trying to make some real changes in the world. So, as I grow older and look for other ways that I can influence the world and still have fun doing it.
Yeah. Well, we definitely made an imprint in Luskin. Hopefully, they don't remember us.
Well, God willing, we don't have to go back there. Otherwise, we'd end up probably at the top of the pole, hanging and swinging.
True that. So, other than that, just idle chatter, nothing specific. Probably conserving energy.
To have a conversation. Do you light a fire at all? Do you try that?
Try to, if we can get it under the wing or something.
You actually you guys get a little fire between, like the drift and the wing all kind of creates almost a cave opening, and at that cave opening you get a fire going that doesn't bring smoke into where you're kind of laying down. It ventilates properly. The wind takes it away. The flame is very kind of all over the place due to the wind. So, but you do get a small fire going that adds some warmth to your rest. Are either of you going to take a watch? Are you going to try and do watches or no?
Seems like there's not much to see, but I'll try to stay awake as long as I can.
Aronan.
Yes, sir.
Ellie's kind of she's got some blankets out. The two dogs you guys have with you are curling up in the corner, kind of laying. Actually, they're laying next to her. You come down into this area where you're going to spend the night, basically. Anything you'd like to say or do before you guys rest?
I'm gonna tell her I'll take first watch, rest up, get warm with the dogs. I'm pretty jacked up from that crazy white wolfy screechy death scream thing. So I'm gonna pull out my Idiot's Guide to Monks, flip it open,
okay,
and start meditating as per the instructions of the book.
All right. So, what do you have for light? What are you using for light?
What's
in
that?
this? What are you using for light in this?
Oh shit! I probably need light. Well,
Pretty dark.
is the moon reflecting off of the snow?
Moon. No. This is a blizzard, dude. There isn't much of a moon anywhere.
I'm going to try and light a torch from my pack and kind of jam it in the ground if I can. If it's
Make a
not
survival
too windy.
check. Just to find a good place to put this torch that would allow you some light to read by.
You use the glare of the headlights from the sled.
I could. It's not a terrible idea.
Your battery will be dead.
Yeah.
19.
And you won't be able to start the car, and then you'll be in trouble when the nasty thing comes.
All you gotta do is, if it's like those old sleds, all you gotta do is take the dog and crank around his tail. Kind of like the... That'll recharge the battery.
That's awful. Oh my god. Oh. I'm cranking up the dog. You said 19?
Yeah.
You actually find a really a nice spot in the sled that being on its side that you can actually put its torch, and it sputters a little bit, but it's guarded from the wind and will actually stay lit as you sit and read. Throughout the night, nothing changes. It's a blizzard. Do you eventually wake Ellie to watch, or do you just fall asleep? You notice nothing during your entire time being up. Actually, make a Constitution saving throw. Let me just do it that way. Let's see if you have a choice in this first.
13.
You nod off. You realize you probably nodded off for about an hour. Book in your hand, torch still sputtering at your side. Kind of snap to, and you're like looking around, and you see Ellie resting with the dogs. You're cold. You're shivering. That pile of warmth actually looks very inviting right now from a survival perspective.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to...
Oh, Ryan's really close to the camera, raising his eyebrows quite a bit. For the podcast listeners,
I'm sure I know what he's rooting for.
I'm really interested to see how this goes.
Not the way you're thinking.
I'd put a blanket over the dogs and see what happens.
I'm sure you would, pervert. Are there any? Do I have any blankets in my?
You would have had some. You would have grabbed some. I know Doc said he grabbed extra blankets
Okay.
too when you guys got the sleds. He asked for extra blankets, so every sled would have had some extra blankets with it.
All right. I'm just going to pull out my blanket and lay it underneath the torch. I don't want to disturb Ellie and the dogs.
Okay.
I'm hoping that the torch will give me a little extra warmth. Sorry, Crixus. I hate to disappoint.
Crixus loves love.
You lay down realizing there's probably nothing coming, and you curl up in this blanket underneath this torch, and fade to black. Smash cut to the surface of the snow. If you've lived in a snowy environment, you sometimes know how a wet snow can actually freeze on the surface and have a lot of really dry snow underneath, and it creates like this layer that you can walk upon if you're small and light. And as a child, most of us try and do it and see how far we can get before we go through the surface of the snow. And that's what you have right now. This entire field that you wake up in surrounding the dragon, surrounding Ellie and Aronan, and there's just this blanket of snow as far as the eye can see. The sun is out. It's reflecting off the snow. It is so bright as you peek up out of your shelters for the evening. It's blinding. It is literally like staring at the sun. And you try and cover your eyes from the sun, but you're getting the reflection off the snow, and it's annoying as hell. Who would be the first one up?
I don't know. Should we take initiative?
Not Crixus.
Actually, no. Just give me okay. Ryan says not Crixus. So Aronan and Doc, give me Constitution checks.
I would say Aronan would probably wake up because he didn't have any dogs and he'd be kind of really uncomfortable. Oh, I have nat 20. So 22.
Yeah, that wins.
Okay.
7.
Aronan, you wake up and you do have a dog. In the middle of the night, Prince found his way over to you and underneath your blanket to lay next to you.
I'm gonna scratch his ears. Good boy.
He growls a little bit at you.
accurate. Is my torch still going?
No, your torch has gone out somewhere in the dead of night. It went out.
Okay. Is the
But you don't need it. You don't need it. It's bright.
No, I'm
The
saying,
light-
but is like the shaft reusable? Like, is it one of those things where you
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of wrap it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah,
take
you
it and put
could-
it back
you
in
could
my
rewrap
pouch.
it, so- Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna take it back and stow it. I'm going to undo my rope, and I'm gonna go wake up Ellie.
Waking her up, she actually rouses relatively easily. You didn't wake me for a watch?
No, I felt like we were pretty safe. I was up most of the night, and nothing happened. Nothing was coming out last night. Also, short rest?
Long
me?
rest.
Was it a long rest for me, or was it a short rest?
It's a long rest for you. It's mid-morning.
All right. So after I get her up, I'm going to stretch, and I'm gonna look around.
Stretch.
Kinda,
Make a perception check as you look around at the glaring snow and white around you. The trees are gorgeous. They're like, it's one of those where they're just covered with the snow. Some of the branches actually look heavy,
11.
laden with snow. 11. You're looking around and you don't see anything or anyone. You don't see the dragon. You see trees. You see snow. You see like drifts of snow and hills of snow along, but you don't notice anyone. You don't even notice your trail from last night. Like a bad nightmare. Your evening and night last night.
I'm gonna yell out, Crixus, Doc. I'm just gonna scream as loud as I can.
I want that soundbite.
Doc! Clip that. Crixus and Doc, as you're sitting there, you actually hear Aronan. You hear him yell. It's faint, but you hear him yell.
Did you hear that?
I heard something. Definitely a human.
When dogs kind of get up, they're kind of bounding around.
Should we make some noise? Should we call him over?
Indeed. And then Crixus will use thaumaturgy to boom his voice. And yell, Ellie! Aronan!
So you hear this voice come sailing over the snow, and you turn to look in the direction it is, Aronan, and you have to cover your eyes because the sun is right there in your eyes, and the snow is reflecting right in your eyes. It's no wonder you didn't actually see them because you had your eyes like 95% closed as you looked past that area on the horizon. Ellie hears it, and she stands up immediately, and she said, that's Crixus. Where are they? And she kind of looks around.
I'm
Then
gonna
you start
point.
hearing a horn going dun 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 dun.
That what they don't see is the dwarf pelvic thrusting underneath. If you want to know the reference, go to our Discord server, find the what is it, European sex? It's a Eurovision thing that I posted on there a while ago.
I just put the link in chat. So I'm gonna
Excellent.
point in the direction that it came from, and I'm going to actually with my daggers. I'm gonna pound an arrow in the direction, just so that as we're
Okay.
riding up the sled and everything, I can refer back to that. So I actually point us in the right direction.
Okay. I need a strength check from you. Actually, Ellie says, she goes to lift the sled and try and push it, and She's struggling with it. And she said, "Can you give me a hand with this?"
Can we do it at advantage or just regular?
She'll do it at advantage. Her first roll was a 2. If you're gonna assist her, she'll take it at advantage. She has a +2 to her strength.
Oh. Well,
Or
I'm no
unless
help.
you want to go with your -1.
A big fat 0.
She just needs you to say yes, I'll help
give
you,
her
and
a
then she gets advantage.
Yeah. I ended up with a 0. I rolled a 1 with a -1.
You guys struggle a little bit. You aren't able to just muscle it out of there, and it takes you probably a good 20 minutes to dig out the backside of it as you start moving the snow away, realizing, oh, we aren't going to be able to just do this. You do eventually dig it out. It just takes you time to do it. You're able to hook the dogs up. How would you hook the dogs up? You start heading in the direction that your arrow was pointing. You don't need a survival check. It's clear day. It's easy to see. You keep just following the sun.
Side note, I grabbed the rope off of Ellie because she still had it tied around her. Before
Okay.
we left, I asked her for the rope back.
She unties it and unties the 2 ropes and gives you your 50 feet back and puts hers in her bag.
And she
so-
probably says something like, "What's the matter? You don't want to be tied to me?"
Honestly, yes, canon. That's what she says when you ask for the rope back. and then just kind of winks at you and chuckles, understanding that she's gonna tease you about this.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just taking my rope and putting it in my bag.
Surly, yeah, kind of grumpy and like. You end up following the sun back. It takes about 45 minutes and I don't know, about a half hour to 45 minutes. Crixus and Doc and Ellie and Aronan show up finally. Aronan walking and Ellie being pulled by the dog sled. And you realize
We probably have some food or something cooking.
And you guys realize that you're probably only about 1,000 feet apart from each other last night.
Yeah. The
That's a
blizzard so loud.
Well, morning.
Oh, thank you for finding us. Oh,
you
you're
get
gonna have to go look.
Crixus, you literally just said what you said because you said thank you for finding us. In that gap between thank and thank you, you get boom, a massive hug from Ellie, and that's what causes that hiccup in your sentence there. And she takes a deep breath and kind of backs out and looks at you and says, "I'm glad you guys are okay." And she turns and looks at Doc and says, "You're pretty good with that horn."
Well, it's good to see you back. Welcome back, boss. Welcome back, Snow White.
I'm gonna look at him and.
She was a princess, right?
What was that, JC?
I said, Snow White, she was a princess, right? That's what Ellie says.
I'm just gonna kind of look at him like, kind of let it go. So we ran into a little issue. Ellie did fall down a well. Good thing Lassie came and got us. But as I was helping pull her out, there was this really weird white
Cat.
animal
Thing. That's a
catty
cat.
thing that actually, show him your boot, took a swipe at her, and it jumped a pretty high distance.
And she shows you her boot, and there's literally claw marks raked across her boot. You see scratch marks on the metal. You see one of the basins for the cold weather gear has actually been cut in half and retied. She said, "I didn't get a good look at it. He pulled me out, and that thing swiped at me as I was being pulled out."
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she would have been fucked if she would have stayed in that pit. She'd have been done. She was dead.
Is there a concern the creature would have followed you this morning?
No, because if it would have followed us this morning, it would have followed us last night. And while I kept watch for the first, 3/4 of the night, I didn't. You know, I didn't keep watch the second part, so it would have had free reign on us, and we would not be here. So I'm not concerned about that. Also, it didn't seem like it was able to get out of that pit. However, it does seem like there are caves underneath us, and so we're gonna have to beware because it did come from. It looked like it came from an opening in the hole that Ellie fell down. So A, we need to watch out for pits. Great. And B, there are caves underneath us, which is also great.
Continue your conversation. I'll be right back.
This doesn't seem like the kind of environment a cat would thrive in. Most cats I know like to bask in the sun, not hide in a dark cave or the cold snow.
True. However, it may live in the cave and come out during the day from a different spot. So my guess is it lives underground because it's too cold to survive above ground. I don't know if this is considered winter where we are. This could be summer for all we know, and it could drop significantly during the day and at night. So my guess is that it lives in the cave and just comes out from a different spot.
Or
Well-
possibly it fell in.
We already knew we had to watch out for the flora and fauna of this harsh world.
Yeah, I think we can take care of any creatures that come at us. We've proven that. But what concerns me more, I think, is the hole. I don't want us to get stuck. Maybe it was a trap, maybe it was not a trap, but we have to be careful when we leave any type of path that we may be on, or even the path itself.
Might not hurt to tie ourselves to our sleds or to some kind of a anchor or something in case we would find one of these accidentally.
Well, my hope is that we are riding over the top of the snow as opposed to going in it. So the odds of us probably falling into the hole hopefully isn't as great, because the dogs are light, right? Like
They got big feet.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
hope is that we're going fast enough that we just fly over any holes that we may come across, but we're not going to know until we actually hit one.
Based on watching Ellie this morning come back to the dragon camp, you understand there is a peak speed. It's like a balance. If you're going too slow, the dogs will ride on top of the snow, but the sled will sink in, and it kind of rides and it's wobbly and breaks, and it's hard to actually stay on the sled. If the dogs speed up just enough, they can get just fast enough. It's a very narrow window where they stay on top of the snow and they aren't actually breaking it, and the sled actually gets up and rides on it. But if the dogs start pulling too hard, their feet go in, and then everything goes into the snow, and it becomes slower.
Interesting.
So maybe where we were using packy snow yesterday and making a nice trail for each other, it might not be a bad idea to stagger and not follow the same path in case the snow is broken.
Or just put the heaviest one in front and break the snow. Or, there's several options that you can do. Or just take your time and
But I
struggle a
think
little bit to make the sled.
if that blizzard is any indication of what it gets like up here, I think we want to make as much haste as we can while the sun is shining. Also, it gives us a direction. I'm assuming there's no trail to be found.
There's no trail to be found. You can, in the distance, see the coastline and use that as a reference point.
Let's finish up our hot food, hot drink, and get packed up then.
So
You guys
Crixus,
doing okay? You survived the night okay?
Well, we're here.
Crixus was considering harvesting the worm, but if we want to get on the road, that probably doesn't allow for time. But I bring that up as an idea.
I mean, we can rough cut some stuff out. Maybe take a paw or a claw or something, and
You'd be able to. You have access to a claw that's on the wing. That's kind of frozen over with ice. You have access to some scales. Anything else you're gonna have to dig for, and that's gonna take a significant amount of time.
Let's just
we're gonna
I'll
pop
do
some scales.
scales.
Did you say pop some scales? I'm gonna pop some scales. I got. That's where my head went. Pop some scales. Show title maybe.
That is random, but I like it.
It's pop scales, really? The cut away harvest. So go ahead and make a survival check to pull some scales down from the side of this dragon,
Everybody?
or I should say, whoever's doing it, someone can do it at advantage.
I have a +6.
I don't have much for tools for that, so I'll probably just start hooking up the dogs.
I have +5. I'll help you, Cooch. Or Crixus.
All right, I'll roll at advantage. So.
I gotta find the. Wait. Let's see.
I got 23.
This list is long.
Well, that's really good. So, if you're assisting, then you wouldn't roll, and I would roll at advantage.
Oh.
Yep.
If we're each
Or-
individually harvesting, then we would both roll 1.
Oh, I gotcha. I thought.
Thank you for that. While I'm searching for this harvesting list.
So as I rolled, my highest of my 2 was only 12, which means 18 total for harvesting the scales.
Scales. Both of you would be successful. So, you're able to pull away. Go ahead and roll a d12 for me.
That is a 9.
You're able to pull away 9 decent-sized white scales off of this
Did I catch a 9er in there?
side.
I will add my inventory for a 9er.
Excellent. You guys pack everything up. You finish. You dig out the sleds. It takes you about an hour to break this camp down and get the dogs hooked up and everything. And you're ready to head out. And it is a gorgeous day. The sun is shining, which has been weird up until this point. It's been a pretty dull gray since you've gotten to Luskin. As the day goes on and you travel north, in the distance, nowhere near you, nowhere threatening, but in the distance you hear a woman scream. At least that's what you think you hear, Crixus, Doc. Aronan, you know a bit different.
I was
that
gonna
isn't
say,
quite-
is this what that last thing sounded like?
Very, very much what the last thing sounded like. Except you've been close to it when it is screamed.
Yep. It's probably time to let the dogs rest, right?
Sure, yep.
All right. So as we let the dogs rest, I am going to immediately tell everybody. So that woman screeching is exactly what those white cat things sound like. If you hear that, be on guard. The closer it is a loud. Think of Doc's horn being blown right in your ear. It is that loud, and it is terrifying. If you hear that, signal us, because we want to be sure everybody hears it, and we need to be ready.
The cat creature sounds like a woman screaming.
Uh-huh.
What a terror.
It is fucking terrifying.
Would my randomly maybe would my backstory have encountered?
I got a leg spike from Jeff.
Oh, he's asking if his backstory would account for him knowing what this was. Is that correct, Genius?
Yeah.
Did you spend a lot? I don't recall you spending a lot of time in nature in the north. Did you?
No, but would have thought things brought in. But this might be random.
Make an intelligence check.
I'm not great at those. I'll take a 16.
Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell. I mean, the large cat sounds familiar. Large white cat sounds familiar. Something that screams like a human? No. Nothing like that in your past. So you rest the dogs, and I'm assuming you're resting them every hour. Just because someone mentioned resting the dogs, there's no... I will just go with that.
Mhm.
You guys remembered? Good. I'm not going to make you say, every hour I rest them. As long as someone says we rest the dogs every hour when you start traveling, we're good.
Yep.
You start going again, and you're following the coastline. You're keeping a distance from the coast. The sky is... The sun's out, but the sky is getting darker. It's weird. It's almost eclipse-like. You know how when the moon goes between the sun and Earth, it kind of gets really kind of shady. It's starting to do that. Kind of strange. Sun's out full, bright, and everything, but it's the whole, almost like someone's putting sunglasses over the top of the world. Or a big-ass tinted window over where you are. Just a little bit right now. Enough to notice.
Helps with the glare.
Yes, it does. Honestly, it does. And that's why you notice it. Suddenly, it's just... Snow isn't as bright. It's weird. Make a... Well... Yeah. Make a perception check. All three of you. Let me make one too. All right.
Perceive this.
14.
18.
18.
18. All right, Doc,
High
you
five.
see Fireshear in the distance. You're focused on trying to get where you're going. You see Fireshear in the distance. Doesn't look like a lot. It looks, honestly, it looks like a small mining town. Crixus, Aronan, you also see this. Ellie notices Fireshear as well. Crixus and Aronan, though, about 100 feet or so off the road, there's a little cub of some kind walking on top of the snow. A little white creature on 4 legs.
So it's small? It's not like adult size?
Correct.
Okay.
As you kind of look at it, and you realize Crixus is looking at it, you see there's 3 more of them as well.
I'm
All in
going
different
to...
walking around on top of the snow.
I'm going to kind of... What's the order that we're going in? What's the order that we're driving?
Good question. I
Alright.
imagine Ellie was... Crixus was probably first because he has... Crixus was probably first because he has the best survival score. That makes sense that you would put him first, easy.
Mhm.
And then I imagine it would probably be Doc, then you, then Ellie. Ellie would insist if Crixus was
I think
going first,
Doc maybe would bring up the rear.
Doc would. Okay.
Sounds right to me.
So then Crixus, Aronan, Ellie, Doc? Or Crixus, Ellie, Aronan, Doc?
Probably Crixus, Aronan, because we would want Ellie.
Ellie would want to keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
She
And
feels responsible for you and knows the trouble you can get into. So
also we would want more of the fighters in the front and the back. So while Crixus is, a cleric or whatever, I would be a fighter. Well, in theory, I would be more battle prone. And then we would want Doc in the back because he is also a fighter.
I want prone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more of a tank with my AC, so I definitely want to lead the way.
Yep, and the same with Doc. We would want somebody guarding our rear.
So it makes it makes perfect sense the way the dice rolled out that you and Crixus and Aronan would see these
Yep.
little cubs walking around on the surface of the snow,
So
just kind of muling around.
I think I'm gonna tell Crixus to hold up. To stop. I'm gonna say, Crixus, we should stop for a minute.
I mean, Crixus stops, but in his mind, if these are the creatures' children, where are the creatures? And I'll say that as soon as we stop.
Yeah. Well, we don't know how dangerous even the babies are, but also we need to have a plan when we get into town. What are we gonna do? What should we do first? And I'm going to kind of scan around looking for the white creature-y things just to be on guard.
I assume you point them out to Ellie and Doc.
Yep.
Well, I think our first order of action and quick is to block the dogs in on a sled train, because the creatures might be looking to pick off the dogs.
True.
Can we tell from where we are? Do they look like cat, dog, bear
Cat bear ish
color?
white. Some of them is slightly gray. Ellie is looking at them. It's like, they're so cute. That's what they are when they're little. I'm not going anywhere near them.
I was gonna say cute.
Hold
Do
on.
you remember what they sounded like
I don't know
coming
what
out of
they
that hole?
are. These even the same thing?
I don't give a shit. I'm not gonna ask questions.
I'm not running off to grab one.
I'm not planning on hugging it.
They're adorable. Look at them. And
Yeah,
you see like one had pounced on the other, and it's rolling on its back, and they're like swatting at each other and playing like kittens do.
You know, if it gets close
How
enough to
far
me,
enough?
I'm not waiting to skewer it.
I would advise against that, especially if mom and dad are in the area. Especially if mom's in the area. Dad may be hunting. I don't know.
How far to Fireshear? Can we tell about how distance or time?
About a mile. Probably about 20 minutes, maybe, at the rate you've been going.
Anyway, enough with this. So when we get to town, lock the dogs up, make sure they're safe, and then find a place to stay for the night. What time of day is it, John?
It would be late in the day.
Okay.
You're looking at. You spend most of your day traveling here.
All right.
Certainly introduce ourselves as a traveling party, nothing more.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, we find someone who would be amenable to our quest. Especially if I forget her name, but the Ice Queen. Especially if
Oral.
Yeah, Oral, especially if Oral, has eyes and ears everywhere as we get up here.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to be looking to steal from someone again here for a little fun? Doc says it sarcastically, like kind of again with the we have 2 clerics, but we're okay with stealing, but whatever.
I mean, is that even a valid question? I mean, do you want me to answer that?
I guess not.
Yeah, you probably don't. All right.
And honestly, if you thought that shopkeeper was a good man, Doc, you're kidding yourself. Ellie says.
Truth in advertising. All right. I guess let's head into town then. I don't see any mama, papa terror objects. So.
All right. So you mush the dogs and you keep.
Yep, I'm gonna hop back on my sled and go.
You keep moving. Make. You guys go. You guys go. You start moving at the pace you've been moving at. There is a. As you start pulling away from underneath the snow, a larger form kind of hunches up by these cubs and just kind of nuzzles one of them, knocks it over, and turns and looks at the sleds, and you actually hear another scream.
I'm
Like
going
this.
to pull my.
It's
Ooh.
not pursuing. It's just screaming at you.
Yeah.
With its cubs.
I'm still pulling out my short sword
Okay.
because I want to use the. I like to use the new shiny.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But you are continuing to move away from it to the town, correct?
Yes, we are moving towards town.
Okay, then we don't need to roll initiative. It will just sit with its babies as you guys move.
I'm gonna look behind me to be sure it's not chasing.
It's not chasing. It's kind of lifted up out of the snow and it's kind of walking around its babies now, almost guarding it. And you guys get probably about halfway to town and you hear it scream again. And you look back and it's sitting back there and it's just protecting its children.
All right, I'm gonna put my short sword away.
Um,
Do we get a good look at it? Does it look like? I mean, is
Oh,
this
yeah.
like tiger, lion, panther? What do we?
yeah, you actually got a very good look at it. Actually, let me pull it up here. It'll be easier to hold this up in front of the screen. Or actually, you know what? Ah, crap. That didn't. Yeah, here, let me do this. It will be easier. It looks like peace.
Oh, that is terrifying.
Yeah.
Cool
And the one you
enough.
saw in the
Wow.
snow had snow and ice wrapped in its fur. It is a large creature. So it is a 4x4. So that thing is like 10 feet, probably about 8 feet tall and about 10 feet long.
Well, we
Massive.
could have let Crick just kill it, but we probably should move on.
Yeah, and the Dragon Slayer.
Would have been cool.
You guys pull into town. Here, it is a small, you can tell right away, it is a small mining village. It's dirty. It's old. There's not a lot of mingling or gathering or people in the streets like there were in Luskin. And you see occasional people, but everyone seems to either be moving with purpose for a job or moving with purpose for need, like to just get somewhere. No one's lingering. There's no fun in the streets here. Everyone's business or survival. You start looking around for a place to stay and you realize very quickly there are no inns here. What you do find a tavern. Let me back up here. Let me get this. There are a couple of taverns. There is a dock. The water is all frozen to the port, basically. There are a couple of restaurants and a couple of taverns, and oddly enough, there's probably about 20 or 30 banks of varying kinds. People are generally staying themselves. Some people side eye you as you come in. Other people just straight up ignore you. You do see some people that look kind of like guards. They have weapons on them, but they look like they're miners, maybe. Rough faces, wrapped in scarves and hats, bundled up. You do see mining picks on several people, more so than swords or axes or anything else. Seems to be a preferred weapon up here or tool.
First order of business to board the dogs, or are we gonna walk around town with the dogs? Would that make sense?
I would say probably board them because that's just extra stuff we have to worry about.
And they must get dog sled travel through here, so somebody knows where to
Mhm.
keep them.
Actually, make a perception check as you come into town.
How do you spell the name of this place?
Fireshear, literally just what it is. It's Fireshear, Fireshear. What'd you have?
I do not
Doc?
perceive much.
5.
4, Aronan,
22.
22. Aronan, you actually see stable, similar to the one where you picked up the dog sleds at, right at the front end of the town, the south end of town. What is really odd about this stable is there is several, instead of being just like a normal stable with beds for the dogs and everything, it looks almost like a military fortification meant to hold out things. There is like barbed wire and stacked logs that are sharpened to points to try and dissuade. You think maybe something like what you saw out in the field from coming to eat the livestock.
I'm going to point that out to everyone and say, well, I guess this is about as safe as place as any if we're going to put the dog somewhere. I'm going to start leading my sled over there.
There's a lot of those things around the city as well. And there's patrols around the edge of the city, guards that patrol it. And those guards are the ones that seem to have pikes and swords in addition to the pickaxes that you see on just about everyone, honestly. So you pull into this, pull the dog sleds up to this stable, and this dirty, greasy man, he's got kind of this raggedy scarf, kind of old, kind of hobbling, comes out and, can I help you?
Yeah, we're looking at keeping...
He wiped a big glob of snot on his glove.
That's gross. Yeah, we're looking to board all of these dogs in our sleds.
Dogs and sleds. How long are you staying?
Just a night.
Just a night. Okay.
I look over at Crixus like, just a night, right? Like one night?
He turns. The
Crixus
farmer blows out his.
nods back.
All right, just one night. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 dogs, 4 sleds.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that'll be 1 gold for the night. You have food for them, or do you want us to supply the food? That'd be another 50 silver if you wanted us to supply food for them.
You might as well do it.
All right, so that's 150 then.
And I'd actually like to make sure that we have enough food for our travels as well. So include that in.
Where are you
Make
headed?
sure we have north.
North of here. You're headed to 10 Towns, huh?
Indeed.
Business with the never-ending dark. Good luck. I can make
Thanks.
sure you have. I can make sure you have food to get there. He kind of bites on his finger, and spits out whatever he bit off his fingernail or hangnail or whatever it was. I'll make sure you have food too. I'll have that bundled up for you. Coming in the morning then.
Yeah, it will be sometime in the morning.
All right.
Was that 1 gold, 50 silver a person? Or total?
No, that's total. What do you think I am, some sort of thief?
No, sir.
He kind of snorts and then hacks up this like phlegmy wad and he spits it out. Yeah, no. Here, let me take your here. And he goes over to Prince and Prince growls at him.
It's all right, Prince. You can go with them. Yes, you'll be safe here. You'll be warm and fed.
Princess
Take
runs up to
Princess
him. Princess runs up to him and kind of nuzzles him and he kind of goes, "Oh, well, you're the friendly one, I guess, and you're the pain in the ass. All right. How are the rest of their temperaments?"
These two are excellent.
They're working dogs. They're used to it.
All right. Well, let's come on then. And he kind of takes Princess by the collar and attaches leashes to each of the dogs and goes after Prince last. And Prince nips at his hand and actually bites his hand and he backhands him and there's like,
Hey, I'm gonna
and
take
he
a step
bites me.
forward.
He bites me, he's gonna get it.
If he gets it, you're gonna get it. Nobody gets my dog.
I'm not below him in the pecking order, and that's what he's trying to set. I need to let him know that.
Well,
That should be it.
don't hit
He reaches
the
down-
dog.
He reaches down to put the collar on Prince, and Prince actually just, without growling, without anything, lets him put the collar on him. And he looks at you meaningfully and says, "Just establishing where I am. I am above him in the pecking order. You should
That
be
may
better
be
now."
true, but don't hit the dog.
And he kind of wraps up the leashes and walks away with them. Taking them back away, and then he comes back out and kind of starts pushing each sled into a storage facility. So your dogs are bed or stowed with your sleds and everything. You're gonna have provisions for traveling north from Fireshear. What would you like to do, the four of you?
Warm meal, place to sleep,
We need a map. We need a shop.
and a map.
You don't need much of a map. It's two roads that intersect.
No, I'm saying we need a map
If-
of the entire north
Oh,
area.
You need a map.
We need
A
a
map
map.
of the entire. Oh, you're going looking for a map here. That's what you're going looking.
Yes.
We need a map.
All right.
So let's head into the tavern, and we'll start to inquire at the tavern about places that we can get these things that we need. Instead of going door to door saying you sell maps.
But then how am I supposed to know who has stuff to take if I don't go door to door asking for a map?
Fair. But when you talk to people and you're peering behind them, it's kind of weird, right? I mean,
Excuse me, sir, can I use your toilet?
Do you know where my head just went? The group has two clerics. If Ellie and Crixus were like corrupted enough, and Aronan could convince them, they could act as like missionaries going door to door to investigate homes to steal from. It's awful.
Actually,
Ellie
be
would never
funny.
go for that. It would actually be pretty funny. Almost on the line of like Boondock Saints funny.
Uh-huh.
Using your religion as excuse, or not excuse, but motivation to do evil things.
I mean, Crixus is a chaotic goods.
Sure, as long as all the stuff being stolen is children, he'd be fine with it. So you end up coming across the first tavern you come across is called the Drunken Dwarf. There's actually a sign that says Drunken Dwarf, and there's this carving of this dwarf's head just in full laughter with a huge ass stein. That's the sign. It just kind of hangs from it's blowing in the wind a little bit. kind of quiet when you open the door. It's warm though. You move inside. There's a large fire going in the hearth, and there's a dwarf walking around behind the bar. Big, black, bushy beard, black hair, just kind of all over. He's kind of surprised to see you guys as you walk in.
Not regulars.
No. Can I help you?
Yeah, we're looking for some food, little drink, just a place to rest our feet.
I got drink. I don't have much in the way of food. You'd have to go to a restaurant for food. But if you want something to put in you that will keep your belly warm, absolutely. I have all of that. Food would be down 2 doors down. There's a the Leaping Lucrata is down there. They serve food. They don't have so much in the way of alcohol, but they serve food.
I'm gonna look at him and say, 2 doors down is the name of my 3 doors down cover band. Weird.
2 doors down.
I've heard of 3 Doors Down. I saw them play in Neverwinter one night. It
Interesting.
was a good night. I don't remember much of the night. It was a good night though.
I'm just gonna chuckle.
What is a Superman anyway? I don't understand.
So, can I get you something to drink?
Yep, I'll take an ale.
Ale, right? You, sir?
Same.
Yes?
Same.
Ellie kind of looks at the three of you, and she just kind of leans forward and whispers to him, "You have fire water?" "Oh, of course, up here. That's one of the things that keeps us warm." "I'll have a shot of fire water and a glass of water." "Okay, sounds good." And he comes back and he in a dice cup.
Oh, it's gonna be that kind of night.
Oh hell! Are you guys ready to have a whole episode be the 4 of them playing bar dice with the bartender?
That's probably
will
about the
do-
most Wisconsin D&D session ever.
I was gonna say we'll get together midweek possibly and play bar dice and let you know how it goes. I don't want to.
Additionally, and we're on an empty stomach too, so things are gonna get weird fast.
Oh, absolutely.
We're in a port town. It's ship captain crew.
Yes, Ship captain crew for sure. So he brings out drinks, the water, the fire water, the shot of fire water, the ales, and a cup with 6 or 5 little bone dice in them with dots on them.
Alright,
So
And-
I'm gonna also say, my dwarven friend, we may also in the morning be looking for a map of the north. Where would we find that in this town?
Map of the north. You may want to check. You'd probably have to check with one of the merchant houses. Go to the Hammervar house. It's a merchant house. It's on the north end of town. You're looking for Tharkus Grom. He's a dwarf. He heads that house. If anyone's gonna have maps of the north, it's him. He's the one searching out there further for more mines.
Perfect.
If you do end up intoxicated, be careful. You go down the street out to the east. There is a sheer cliff face. I've had patrons fall off of it to their death.
Thank you
Oh.
for the warning, good sir.
I'm getting sick of getting blamed for people not being able to hold their alcohol. So
Someone should put up a fence.
That might not be a bad idea. I'm not paying for it though. I'm far enough away from it that it isn't my concern. And we'll stop there. We'll stop there with a night of drinking and bar dice and
I'm trying to figure out where to sleep at some point.
yeah. And we're gonna get intoxicated and then go try and find a place to sleep. This is gonna be awesome. Man, sleeping in an alley somewhere.
Or back in with the dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, back in the
Crawl into the, just wake up in the morning next to the dogs.
kennel with the dogs. That's a possibility too. All right.
Nice.
Norm, you wanna drive us on out of here?
Hold on, let me crank the dog's tail. Gotta get him going. All right. All right. So everybody who may be listening to this, who may not be watching, take a jaunt over twitch.tv/TomMNorm, TOMMNORM. Give us a watch. Hit the heart button. Get notified when we go live every Sunday morning. Pre-show 8:15 a.m. Central Time. Show starts usually 8:30 on the spot Central Time. Get notified when we go live. Join us. It's a good time. We have fun pre-show. We have a little bit of fun post-show, and we have a lot of fun during the show. In case you weren't aware.
You get to see the actual visual gag of Crixus leaning in close to the camera and just raising his eyebrows, hoping that Ellie and Aronan, that this may be the moment. I don't know about that necessarily, but we need to wait for Aronan to actually say, yeah, I mean a little to me before that's ever going to happen.
Nah. We are also on Twitter. I am at Tom M. Norman, TOMMNORMAN. Genius is at Lazy Dragon GB. Crixus Cooch is at Crazy Cooch. And JC, the DM, is at Wildfire 1265. Two Nerds One Quest is, surprisingly, at Two Nerds One Quest. The number 2, Nerds, the number 1 Quest. Give us some support. You can do this by telling other people about our show. That's the best thing you could ever do to possibly support this show, is tell others to watch, listen, follow, subscribe. Smash that like and subscribe button. Yar. So yeah, tell others and give us a rating, give us a review, throw us some stars wherever you get your podcast from. Apple Podcasts, right? Is that what it's called now? Apple Podcasts?
Apple Podcasts,
Stitcher, Google Podcasts.
Sure, Google.
Yeah, wherever you get your podcast
Podcast.
from. Search us out. Send us some stars. Give us a review. Hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully you enjoy the show. The other way What's that?
I said tell other people about it.
Yep. Tell other people about it. The
I
other
have,
way you can
listen to
support us is by going to patreon.com/2nerds1quest, number 2 nerds, number 1 quest. We have some really cool rewards for you. We will be having a vote. Well, actually, it's not even a vote. It'll be a choice made by Jack Marsh 02 in the chat. He is a part of that tier that gets to choose a beast or a villain that he would like us to fight. We will be having that in our Discord channel for him to pick. We'll have 4 or 5 options for him, and sometime JC will surprise us. We will not know what it is or when it will happen. JC will know. Jack Marsh will halfway know because he will know the beast. But that is one of the tiers. That is one of the rewards that you get, is you get to choose who we fight. So Jack, look for that coming soon. We'll send you a message in the Discord, or I might send you that in Patreon itself. Patreon.com/2nerds1quest. Other than that, I am Norm for JC and Cooch and the Lazy Dragon Genius. We'll catch you next week.
Happy Sunday.
In the distance, you hear a woman scream. I would have just screamed and say that's
And
what you heard.
suddenly the cops show up.
Exactly right.
Yeah, that would have been good. And I was hoping when
Yeah,
Genius,
we heard.
I was hoping when Genius started playing as
Nick-
Horn and started doing that he would have actually stood up and started hip thrusting, because that would have.
Yeah,
Why you need to join the show.
I'm sitting on a bar stool. There's not quite enough room for hip thrusting.
Oh, there's always room for hip thrusting.
I concur.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I could see that though, Johnny. The cops show up. Neighbors complained about a woman screaming. Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, that was me. We're playing D&D. There was a woman screaming in the game.
It's like the
You know what
Simpsons
you do?
Treehouse
You
of
wanna-
Horror, where it's like
Literally,
it's like the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, where Ned Flanders screams like a woman. Did you ever see that one?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it. That's
Oh.
my story.
So,
Good story.
do you know what my favorite paradox is?
Space-time
Ever?
continuum.
It's the Rick Astley paradox. Have you heard of this?
Oh Jesus, we're gonna get rickrolled, aren't we?
Rick, no, kind of, but not really. Rick Astley has a copy of the movie Up. He's never going to give you up. But in not giving you up, he lets you down. So he doesn't want to let you down, so he has to give you up, but he won't give you up. Thus creating the Rick Astley paradox.
I feel like
Indeed.
booting you from Discord just for that.
Oh, wow. That's the start of the rest of my day here.
Yes!
I mean, it's kind of moot now because now you can subscribe to Disney Plus for a very reasonable rate, and you can watch everything that you want. So it's a little different.
Disney Plus. Sponsorship, please. Come on.
Yeah, no free rides here, people.
Great catch, Obi.
Yeah.
I can't.
I
believe
am
it.
Speaking of random shows, I got a free Apple TV thing for a couple months, and that Mythic Quest show is great.
Is it? I still have
Yeah,
Apple TV for a while. I should check it out.
It's got one of the guys from Always Sunny,
Okay.
and the show is really fun, like exceptionally fun. It's a guy from Community, a guy from Always Sunny, and it is fantastic.
That sounds good.
It's funny. I've always seen
I
things
also-
for it online, but I've never actually checked it out.
It's good times.
The other one that I heard is a really good one that's on there is the oh crap, I forget what it's called. But remember when the English Premier League went to NBC and they had Sudeikis do all those commercials about the American football coach in England? They did it like a whole TV show on that, and it's supposedly amazing, from what I hear.
I just saw ads for it. I actually love Jason Sudeikis. I think his comedy is amazing. So
Mhm. Yeah, so I heard good things, so you may want to check that out. And it goes beyond it being like a soccer show. Like, it is emotionally satisfying in weird ways. But like the soccer podcasts I listen to, the guys are like, the show's actually really good. I mean, like, beyond being a show about soccer, it's really clever and well done and heartfelt. Cool. I should check it out.
put that on my short list.
Hey, we have show titles to vote for.
Yes, we do. That was my next thing.
Yay.
There should be several in there.
I was gonna say, I know there's at least 2 in there.
Yeah, it was a good day for show titles.
Cranking up the dog. Cranking up the dog's got it.
All right, so I'm just going to read them down for everybody in the chat. Go to tommnorm.showbot.tv. Let me put that in there real quick. If you want to vote. Oh, not Show9bot.
How'd that 9 get in there?
Bad typing. So we have Cranking
Fat
Up the Dog.
fingers.
Everything is about touching tips these days. Wildcats and Blue Devils.
It's really funny too.
Crank the dog's tail to get him started. 2 dog horsepower and pop some scales.
I think Tom and I
As
put
much as I like pop
two
some scales.
at the same time.
Yeah. Cranking up the dog was kind of a theme throughout it all. In my head, the places my head went as Jeff is describing the school that he used to go to, and it was their mascot. And he said, "I'm just gonna call you Duke." And I went, like, my head's going, "Yes, Duke, Blue Devil. Oh God, that's Ryan. He's a big Kentucky fan. Holy crap!" The contradiction inside my head, like, I hate this.
That's
And
funny.
In my head, I know what.
I didn't make the connection at all.
I got that going through my head, and in that moment, I'm going, "Wait, he's Wildcats. Oh my God, this thing is kind of a Wildcat." So Wildcats and Blue Devils, I texted it to Tom because I don't have the ad up to suggest it. But I'm like, "This is fantastic."
Yeah, out of all the nicknames, that was the first one that I had, and it's the last one that came out. So
Genius.
it was like, oh man, I gotta come up with nicknames for everyone else because Blue Devil is just the best. I gotta call him Duke.
You're on a whole nother
So-
level, Genius.
So there's Duke, Snow White, and does he have a nickname for Crixus or for Aronan yet?
He was
Not that he's
calling him
come up-
Slick earlier, but that didn't
Yeah.
seem to go over well. So he's just gonna call him Boss probably from now on.
Boss. There's going to be a conversation about the Snow White, just so you're aware. She didn't get to have it, but there'll be a conversation about Snow White.
Figuring them coming out of the snow, she was probably covered in snow, and there's already a princess now, so to change that up a little.
So
All right. So I'm going to call it a show, and I'm going to see if anybody is streaming that we can go raid.
Yeah, good time,
Weird.
guys. Thanks a lot. And what time do the Packers play today? I don't know.
325.
Yeah.
3:25 again.
Lions, right?
Not mad about it.
And I
Nice.
want to say next weekend we play on Saturday. Does that sound
That's
right?
what I heard. Yeah, I love
Right?
Saturday. So cool.
Saturday football. That's weird. Is it prime time? Or is it like late afternoon?
Yeah.
I would assume so.
What is next weekend? Is it Christmas? Right? No, it's the weekend
No.
after.
One more.
Oh, not.
Yeah, I'm amazingly got a really good jump on all my Christmas shopping, and then I just kind of sat on that lead I had, and now it's dwindling away, and I'm feeling some pressure that I should go finish shopping maybe today. I'll actually probably do it this week when the kids are with my ex. So
All right. I'm going to raid a guy named Sly Flourish. He looks like he is doing, it says Lazy DM Prep.
lazy
So-
DM prep. That sounds familiar.
Good times. Well, thanks
So-
for joining us today, guys.
We're going to check this out.
Yeah.
Thanks for everybody coming in. It was a good time. Had by all. Always fun. Always a great time. Raid now. See what happens.
Interesting. So, John, do you have? Oh no, I can't think of it. Sorry, I'll come back around to it.
All right, I'll go with my story. So I don't know if you guys remember back at weekend before Labor Day, I had smashed my finger up north doing some wood cutting type stuff and smashed between two logs. So the fingernail's been black and blue since then, and just Thursday night, I was grabbing for something in the pantry, and you ever see those cartoons like I'm thinking Ren and Stimpy or maybe SpongeBob where they open up a toenail like a car hood? That happened. So yeah, I was kind of in a weird panic and like put it down, and now it's got a band-aid on it, and I'm leaving it alone as long as I can. I don't want to see it. I don't want to touch it.
What's the pain threshold on that?
Shockingly, I'm not sure it was connected at that point, so it was more of a I felt something move and I saw it as opposed to it hurt.
Shouldn't move, right?
So-
I mean,
No, I mean the new nail is growing in. It was about a third of the way up, and it's like, okay, well, this day is coming at some point, and it just was not the day I was expecting it to be. So that's my week. D&D's been helping me with that.
Good.
Yeah,
Do you
getting to
have the
eat
original
puppies.
Last of Us, John?
The original Last of Us, yes. Not in a disc form or anything, but yes,
Oh, okay. Digital.
digital. Yeah. Actually, the
Should I
remaster
be
that was on.
playing? Should I play through the first one before I play through The Last of Us Part 2?
All
Yeah.
right, I'm gonna stop the recording here.
Not from its